Hello, rock stars. Welcome to In the Pit. I'm your host, Rick. And yes, it's that time again. It's Howdy Doody time. Oh, no, that's that other show. Yeah, no, that's not this one. We're going to have another great interview. This one's going to be fun. Get ready. This is Two Squirrels on Crack. Welcome to the show, my good friend, Michael Egdorf. How are you, sir?
I am wonderful, Rick. Thank you for having me here today.
Oh, wait, squirrel. Oh, my God. I don't know why you put up with me. Oh, let me tell you the ways. Oh, my Lord. Okay, so, Mike, I got to tell you, I see all the Christmas attire behind you somewhere. I got to do all this. Did you do that or did Denise?
That's my wife.
Okay. Thought I'd take a stab.
It was all Mini D.
Yeah. Are you already like looking in the stocking? Go, dude, there's nothing in here. What the hell?
No, because as you well know, I truly despise the holidays in general. So I know I'm a Grinch, and
but your heart's gonna grow 3 times too big or something.
I think you know me pretty well. My heart's already pretty big.
I know, but it's gonna get bigger. It's gonna swell. Okay, wait, that sounded wrong. See, I'm gonna get yelled at by Mr. Rose for that one. Oh my Lord.
I love the idea of Christmas. It's the commercialism, everything else that goes with it that I'm not about.
So I wish Christmas was more like Thanksgiving. Like Thanksgiving is my holiday because it's get together with family and enjoy yourselves and stuff a lot of food down your face. I mean, just saying.
That's good.
And Christmas is all about spend, make it rain. Like, no, sorry. Maybe I just have a different Christmas. Oh my Lord. So, okay. The reason we've talked, and I was so excited to have you on the show because you're the first guest to come on that has behind the curtain knowledge and perspective. And a lot of us, again, we interview musicians and we're always on stage and we all go out to shows, but I don't think folks really understand. And I'm hoping we can touch on a couple different topics, but what goes into putting on a show, not just on a local level, but on a national level. And again, with COVID, there was a lot of banter. And if some of it we can't talk about because of your job, I totally understand. But that's kind of why I was like, dude, you got to come on and talk about it. Are you game?
Always game for you.
Yeah. So tell me, what do you do over at House of Blues, which we've all been there in the past?
I'm a production stage manager, which is a fancy title for I babysit bands. I pay them.
Dude, you're a babysitter?
Some days, yes.
I saw that movie, The Babysitter Club. Is it like that?
Something. We do everything from our team. We do all the advancing. So we work with bands to get the advancing, hospitality writers, production writers, all that stuff. We work with bands for weeks ahead of them coming in, get all that information together to make sure that we have enough crew on staff that we can handle what they're bringing. Day of show, I'm in charge of the venue, everything from being there super early, getting green rooms ready, getting them stocked up.
What's super early? Wait, what's super early?
I will tell you, for a recent show, super early for me was 7 a.m. And
you don't even get home till like 3 or 4 in the morning.
I didn't leave the venue till after 2 a.m.
Why not just sleep in the green room?
Because I love my wife.
Oh, okay. That trumps all. You win.
But from the moment the band gets there, it's giving them a tour of the venue. It's showing them the different green rooms, running through the schedule of the day, from loading in direct headliner, direct support bands, making sure they all know where they can park. And then me and my crew, from there, it's everything. It's pushing cases, getting the stage set up, doing sound check, getting everything done and ready so that when it says door time is 7 p.m. to let guests in, we're way ready and above ahead of that.
And that is a feat because I've been there early. I've played House of Blues. I know. And we're just talking local. put it on a national level, and I'm assuming it's the same thing. It is a bunch of ants scurrying everywhere. It's
all day.
It's controlled chaos, correct?
It is. It is. And I'm the one trying to control it, which is scary.
You know what you need? There's an app for your phone that when you go like that, it goes whoosh. And seriously, you need the whip app. Is that bad? I'm sorry.
No.
HR's calling already. Going, no, you can't have that.
No, it's, you know what? I love what I do. I love being around bands all day. And I have a theory on all this that says,
Ooh, tell.
When a tour or bands, when they're setting up their new touring schedule, and we're talking big bands, not your local.
Yeah.
But
like
for big bands,
the Blue Octobers, like the big bands.
They have a choice when their management comes to them and says, hey, we're going to play Dallas. What venue do you want to play? Those bands can say, oh, we were at House of Blues last year and it really sucked. Hospitality sucked, or whatever part of the day sucked. They don't want to go back there. So for my mindset, and then what I push down on my team is that you got to remember that, because I want those bands, when they leave my venue, to go, I want to go back there. That was a great day. We got taken care of. Everything was easy. Load in, load out, settlement. All that stuff was smooth as glass. And if they have that in their memory, when their management comes back and goes, hey, we're planning our next tour, and they say the word Dallas, oh, we're going to House of Blues.
House of Blues. Yeah. And so they actually contact, not you, but like I got Live Nation, I'm assuming, and they contact you and say, okay.
Yep. Yeah. When tours are scheduling, they go through we have people that do touring. Basically, they do all the booking. We have booking agents that do all the booking. So that all goes through them. Then it gets filtered down to us, just letting us know, hey, we've got this show coming. And then from there, we take it and run with it, and do all the advance with bands and get everything out there that needs to be done.
And so one of the things, and it was funny because you and I talk a lot. And one of the conversations we had is during COVID, and my question is going to be, during COVID, what were some of the biggest challenges? And I know you and I have touched on it, and I don't think fans, because I've heard a lot of people get pissed over this whole, oh my God, I got to have a test, or I got to get vaccinated, or how come I can't do blah, 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 blah. And I stopped listening at that point because I already know some of the backstory. Can you touch on that? I mean, are you allowed to?
I can.
Okay.
It's, you have to understand that our current state of the world that we live in is COVID. And bands like us as general people, they're just as immune, as they can catch it just like we can.
Yes.
But the difference is when a band is planning a tour of the United States, and if one band member gets sick, that stops the show for them. If it's your guitarist or your singer, you can't replace that key person day of show. And if you did, the fans in the crowd are going to be upset and disappointed because they're looking forward to seeing that person. So Live Nation implemented on October 4th new standards and policies. And my opinion and my view is this is not just Live Nation. It's more coming from the artist. It's coming from the record labels and the managers of bands, because for them to keep playing and to stay safe on the road, they want to know that, I know the vaccine is not the end all cure. People with vaccines are still getting sick. I get that. However, to the band, it is a level of protection to keep them out doing what they love, allowing the fans to come and see the bands that they love. It has been frustrating.
Yes.
I can't tell you, I lost count on the number of times I've been called a racist or a Nazi because we're asking for a COVID card, or we're asking for a negative test. The bottom line is I want to stay safe. Yeah. I want my crew to be safe and healthy. and I want the band to be safe and healthy so that they can deliver the most amazing show to Dallas and know that they're able to travel to the next city, the next town, and they're still going to be able to provide that safe, healthy show. And they weren't sick, and they didn't get sick from Dallas.
And I think that's a great point. They're going to go to the next city, next town, and be able to put that same show on for other folks. And I think a lot of times and this is not musician talking now, this is a fan talking. You just see the world through your little eyes and you're like, oh, I really wanted to see this artist, because you get all pumped up, you bought your ticket, and then it doesn't happen. And you get emotionally let down. But when you hear the backstory of why it is, and I've heard people, and it's not just your venue, oh my God, I can't believe that they're making me do this. And again, not just your venue. It's across the board. What people aren't taking into account, I think sometimes, is Texas never shut down completely.
Correct.
We have still had live music through this entire debacle. We've still, even if it was 25%, we still had music. So and maybe I'm that cup half full guy, but I'm like, okay, it's a minor inconvenience. I got to wear a mask, whoop-de-doo. It's not a big deal to me.
It's not. It is not a big deal in any way, shape, or form. It's just simply, people are frustrated. They pay a ticket and they get to the venue and someone says, oh, you also have to have this extra step. But if a band, and let me word this the right way. If a band member gets sick, and I'm not going to name any band.
No, please don't.
But think about this. COVID, the whole, we've all read online about quarantining, this and that. So if one band member gets exposed, they have to quarantine for 10 to 14 days.
Yep.
For a band on the road, that could be 8-9 shows.
Wow.
That they can't play. And I'm not going to talk about how much bands make or this and that.
No. But that is a lot of money.
But that's a lot of money. One, they've got to sit in quarantine in one place. They're canceling shows, or most of them they're not canceling. They're rescheduling again for a later date, which we saw through COVID, where originally, this will last 30 days. March of 2019, we heard, this will be 30 days. We'll all be back to normal.
This is a long 30 days.
And then you've seen bands that have rescheduled shows 3-4 times.
Well, the whole Motley Crue, Def Leppard.
Next summer now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just the artist that's not making money. Now you've got their roadies. So
Correct.
Their employees are not making money, which means their families aren't eating. And that's if they're canceling your show. Okay. So your venue is not making money. Your employees are not making money that night, or the next night, whatever town they were in, or the next night, whatever town. It's the domino effect.
It filters down to everyone. It's not just the production team. It filters down to security staff, to bartenders.
How about the people parking cars, charging you $10 across the street? They're not making their coin. How about the bars around you? Not just because people, yes, they go to eat and drink at House of Blues, but the bars around you, they're not benefiting either. It's a domino effect. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is because I want people to maybe just have a moment of pause, not trying to change how you feel, but think about the bigger picture here. Your band's going to come back. They're going to come to town. You're just not going to get to see them today. And
that's it. But for a lot, it's hard to understand that. And,
I know.
And we get yelled at and screamed at nightly at the front gate. My security team is amazing. I love them all, but they get abused. They get abused on a nightly basis from fans, calling them Nazis or calling them other names because I can't believe you want this. Well, please understand. It's not just that I want it. This is what our company has set as a standard, number one. But number two, the band needs to know they're safe and they feel safe.
By the way, your staff, they are always phenomenal. Your security folks are really nice. I didn't realize it wasn't a strip search situation. So when I'm getting undressed at the gate, I think you got a memo on me. They're probably annoyed. I wore a leopard bikini.
I have a copy of the video that I'm happy to share with anyone.
I like my leopard bikini. I thought it was very tasteful.
It matches the socks you wear when you drum. I know.
Oh my Lord. No, your staff is always so just, again, they're so polite. And when it's time to not be polite, and that's a sad thing. There are times that the boys have to say, not having it.
Yep.
Got to go. And, you know, of course, the person that's getting thrown out, usually it's because they were drunk. And
I'm not even going to say it's funny. It is.
I think it's funny.
It's more. I do too. But more so lately, I think that people were cooped up for a year and a half.
Yeah.
And they're just getting comfortable stepping back out. But yet they've got that year and a half of frustration of being at home. And I'm going to let loose in one night. And they do.
It's like they don't know how to act.
Well,
of course, I don't ever know how to act.
You've been stuck at home with family for a year, and you're getting back out again and going, it's like a baby coming out of the womb. You pop out and go, hey, what's this? What's this? What's that?
That's me every day.
I know.
Okay, so behind the scenes, the night of show, and I recently was very privileged, and I know this show meant so much to you. Blue October was in the house, and I'm not ashamed to give them some props. They put on a phenomenal show. We came out, and I came out and hung out. Me and Amy and a few of our friends, and I watched you, and you were so gracious to take a second here and there to come by and see us. But really, you are literally go nonstop. But even though you do this every day, I know that night you are a huge fan. So for you were extra giddy. How do those nights unroll for you? Because you still got a job to do.
I do. It's my day goes on no matter what it is. I mean, I don't stop. You've seen me in the venue. I run past you going, stop for 2 seconds. Hey, Rick, how you doing? Got to go.
He doesn't stop. He smacks me in the back of the head as he's running by. Hey, Rick, whack.
The Blue October shows for me, we had 2 of them in Dallas, November 4th and 5th. And because of my past, I deal with mental health. I have diagnosed with bipolar in 2007 and have lived with it since. I also have a past history of substance abuse and the lyrics that Justin writes and speaks. I'm not a poet in any way. I love to write. I love to write about my feelings, but I'm not that person that can put feelings and words into a poem of sorts to create a lyric. But when I listen to Blue October's lyrics, for me, it's as if I wrote that song because it's explaining everything that's going on in my head, in my heart, just in my body and my soul. And it's as if he and I tapped into each other and that happened. And so that show for me was very personal.
Absolutely.
I had to stop several times during the night just because certain songs of theirs mean a lot to me, and I've made posts on my page. I started a small, I wouldn't even call it a blog, but I just started some postings where I call it the Crazy Chronicles, and it just kind of talks about my mental state and where I am, and what things mean to me. Music for me is the most passionate and important thing in my life. Music has gotten me through so many different phases during life, and I've lived a million lifetimes. I used to claim that, I'm like a cat. I have 9 lives. I have used up all 8, and this is the last one I have. So
you used up all 20.
I'm trying to be very careful with this last one. But yeah, that show and night for me was phenomenal. I got to sit down with Justin and just talk to him one-on-one. There's a backstory that a lot of people don't know. Justin,
and we can talk about that later, unless you want to share it now. No, if you want to share it now, we can.
I don't mind. Justin's father and my father were both Houston police officers together. They both worked undercover in the narcotics division. And so we had that connection, which for me was an end to come and talk to him and go, hey, I know your dad. And as soon as he heard my last name, he's like, yeah, I know your dad. So it really was cool. It was an icebreaker for me. And it was the greatest thing, because after that, we got to talking, and we started talking about sobriety dates and, all the other things, and mental health issues, and what drugs, what meds do you take? What meds do you take? And it was just great. But that, like I said, those lyrics and music for me are just my stressful days. I'll go put on a Blue October album, and it just calms me down.
You know what? Epiphany moment, and we kind of talked about it. There's a lot of folks. Music is their release. Music is their therapy. There's a lot of folks that battle with depression, mental illness. I propose to you today, why don't we do a show? Maybe a 1, 2, 3 part. I don't know. We can have some guests on, and let's talk about, let's put so that people understand you're not an island. You're not alone. There's a lot of people. I've dealt with depression. Everyone thinks that I'm always so happy. There's other crap going on behind my smile too. We all battle. You're not alone. What would you say about maybe you and I co-hosting a discussion, a roundtable discussion? We could bring in some other artists, some folks, and discuss. Would you be game?
I'm always game for that. I have for years I hid my battle. Most people that know me would never guess that I struggle, because, like you just said, I'm usually on top of the world. I'm bouncing around. I'm constantly running around. I do everything I can to make
on the outside.
I do everything I can to make everyone else happy, make them feel good.
Yeah.
I could be dying on the inside, but I'm still doing that in the front. And then when I get away from everything and everyone, my world crumbled. My world crumbled a lot.
Yes.
And I will say this, I have to give props to Minnie D.
Yep.
Sorry, my wife. She goes by Minnie D.
Yes.
But I have to give props for her, because she literally tracks my moods. I didn't know this for years. I found a calendar by the bed one time, and she has all of these symbols written on each day. And I finally had to ask her, what does all this mean? And she literally tracks my mood day to day.
Nice. To
realize and know, okay, he's starting to go downward. And so in her mindset, that tells her, okay, I need to up my support game.
Yeah.
Because he's either about to crash or he's in the middle of a crash. And that's a big key. And that's something I want to do this thing with you. And that's a big key. I want to spend one session just on supporting someone who is mentally struggling.
Thank you. Yes.
How does a spouse deal with? How do they deal with that family member that is crumbling? Because the biggest thing with mental health and even substance abuse, until the person who is involved with it and struggling, until they're ready to receive that help, you can offer it. My parents, my brother, my family offered me assistance for years. They would come to me and say, hey, we want to help you. What do you want us to do?
Yeah.
And, when you're in that moment and you're in that mindset, it's okay, great, thanks. But until you're at that point in your personal life that you want that change, that you realize you have to and need to change.
Yeah.
Because if you continue, you're going to be dead. But family support it's a huge thing. And I'm lucky and thankful. I have amazing family. My brothers are super supportive. My parents my in-laws are supportive. I am my mother-in-law's favorite son-in-law. And she tells
I wonder why.
She tells me all the time. But you know what? It's the 11 years I've been married to Denise. It's not been all hula hoops and
rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah, it's been a struggle, and but we've learned how to work around my mental issues and my up and down days. It's been a roller coaster.
Yeah.
We enjoy the high times.
Yeah.
We battle together on the downfalls.
Yeah.
But it is a process, and there are people out there. There are groups that are amazing that I would love to be able to introduce.
Yes.
Through shows with you.
Yeah.
We can highlight those groups. We can give people information
Yep.
that they can reach out to anonymously and get help and assistance. At the same time, and you've read my post.
Yes.
I start them and end them with telling people, I don't care if it's 3 a.m. or whatever time of the day. My phone number is on constantly.
Yep.
I might not hear my phone at midnight or 3 a.m. My wife will wake up and tell me the answer.
There's a couple other folks. Chuck from Kill 'Em All, a dear friend of mine. I know he deals with it, and he and I had talked about this as well. I will be making some calls. You and I we're going to have some lunch here coming up. We'll sit down.
Yes.
And for those of you watching, if this is something that strikes a nerve, we would love to hear from you, because it's not just identifying and understanding what those that go through mental health and depression. And I will tell you, anybody that knows me, everybody thinks I'm fun. Talk to Amy, and she'll tell you what a roller coaster ride I actually am behind the scenes. I have big highs and big lows, and I'm a nightmare. I mean, I love who I am, but I'm a nightmare, and I tell everybody that I'm difficult. I live life with passion, but again, identifying, and then also I think the biggest thing, Mike, that you hit on was supporting. What does the family go through? Wives, spouses, children, family, and how can you support somebody identifying and support them through this, as well as you and I need to do a little bit of homework. I want to make sure that the organizations that we help put out there for folks are good, reputable ones, that they will truly get help. And again, I know that you and I together pulling our brains, we will be fine. I'm sure that there's a number of other celebrities that deal with this that would love to come on, sit down and tell their story, so that you realize I'm not an island. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one going through this, but guess what? I can talk about it, and I can get better, or I can manage it. You know what I mean?
It is. And, if you look in the last 10 years, we have lost a lot of artists. You and I are older. Still in our 30s, but there's a lot of artists from the 90s, early 2000s that their bands have lost a frontman, a guitarist, or another key member, because it was someone who was dealing with mental health and couldn't do it.
Mental health or substance abuse. And when you say substance abuse, usually that relates back to a mental health. I mean, there's something else going on. It's not just, oh my God, I took some drugs and died. It's I was trying to mask and numb some pain in my life. And again, everybody jokes and they know I like tequila. Well, I drink. I'm putting Band-Aids on some stuff that I'm dealing with. I have issues just like everyone else. So I think you and I sitting down, if you as you guys as the end user, you guys are the fans, you're watching the show. If you think this is something that would be great, when we do it, I would encourage you to please pass it on and invite your friends to watch it. Hopefully you get some benefit. Would you agree with that?
Yes, totally. And I think not pass it on. I think comment.
Yes.
Ask questions. Tell us what types of conversations do you want to see, do you want to hear about regarding mental health and or substance abuse? What type of topics do you want us to cover and hit on? Because I want this to be something that can be shared, in that someone, it may not be your family. You have a coworker, a friend, someone who is struggling, that you want to be able to share this with them, to go, hey, check this out. Listen to what these guys are talking about. I've already reached out to several well-known artists who battle and deal, that are totally down with doing a panel and coming to talk about one of the bands we just hit on earlier, which is one of my favorites. I won't say the name, but it's the color of my normal hair and the month of the year.
Wow. now. Why don't you just give a roadmap and put an X on it? Like,
I love segues. They're not just for kids.
I think it's phenomenal. I'm excited. This is something that I'm not sure if it's going to be a 1, 2, 3 part. We'll figure that out and maybe do this in a live format. But I'm going to encourage, if you're watching this and you find this a compelling topic that you want, please comment on the show, because we're going to go back. We are actually going to read the comments and use that also as part of the sounding board and the guideline as we go forward and we put this show together. And I want to make sure that it is beneficial to everybody, not just us, but to those out there that maybe are quietly screaming for help but don't know how to really find it. I'm hoping that if we can help one person, I will feel so much better. Would you agree?
I do. It's for me, it's all about that one person. Yep. When I write and I post, I'm posting to express where I'm at mentally, physically, what I'm feeling. But at the same time, I've gotten messages from some of my Crazy Chronicles posts from people that tell me, I didn't know you dealt with that. Because
we all do.
Meeting me in person, they're like, I would have never thought, because of who you are and how you project and all these things. And they're like, I would have never thought I could come to you to ask you these questions. And that's my whole goal. Is it's taken me 15 years to get to where I am now, to where I want to share, I want to help, and I want to reach out and support others.
Nice.
Because I hid it, which is the biggest thing with that. I hid it for so many years because I didn't want anyone to know that I dealt with this.
Yeah.
And now that I'm in this weird phase of my life, and maybe it's turning 50 last year. But I'm at that point now that I want to find that 19, 20-year-old.
Yeah.
30-year-old, whoever it is, someone who is going through difficulties of divorce, marriage, substance abuse, just mental health in general. And Denise for me is also a great support, because our marriage hasn't been, the yellow brick road every day. Yep. And we both talked that even if it's a couple and a marriage going through a struggle, we want to be a sounding board, and we want to be a lifeline that they could call and go, okay, here's what we're dealing with. How did y'all get past this? What were the things you did to get to where you are now, and that we're happy and we're successful? And that's just something that my love language is service for others. I learned that long ago. I don't know how to say the word no. I don't care who you are. You can call me and ask for help. And I may have slept 2 hours last night, but I'm always going to say yes to someone. And it's what I do.
Michael, I'm excited. Man, I hate that we're out of time. Thank you so much for sharing some of the behind the curtains about the club and dipping into the mental health issues, which you and I have talked about. I'm excited about putting a show together with you and us putting it out there in the public. Would you come back and obviously, even outside of the show we're going to do, would you come back and do this again?
I would come back with you any day, Rick.
I hope people understand really what goes on out there. It's not just the bands that make everything happen. It's the behind the scenes. Wait, I got to point that way. Folks that really allow us to go out there, because music is our therapy.
It is. And that people come to a show, you see the lights, you see the stage, you hear the music. They don't get that it took 12 hours. Get all that ready so that your favorite band can get on for 90 minutes and blow you away.
Oh my Lord. I am so excited. I'm looking forward to having lunch with you, and we'll put some stuff together. For those of you that are just tuning in, please look for this series. And we will put an ad out there. We will definitely let y'all know that it's coming. And again, if you're the first time watching the show, thank you for tuning in. Please go to our Facebook page, like us, invite your friends to like us, especially if you're somebody that loves music, or maybe they're dealing with mental issues that they would find benefit, or just escape. Come listen to us do this for 30 minutes every week. If Facebook's maybe not your thing, we're on iHeart Radio. We're on Spotify. We're on YouTube. We have Instagram and Twitter. We have a Roku channel. We have an Amazon Fire channel. Like we're out there well enough for you to find us. Come hang out. escape for a couple minutes, listen to me be a moron and run my mouth. Sometimes we have great interviews where like this, it leads to some serious topics. A lot of times it's very lighthearted, but come and hang out. And thank you so much for your support. I don't get to do this if you're not watching, because otherwise I'm just talking to the wall, which I do anyhow, but this is more entertaining for me. Michael, thank you for being my guest this week, man. I am so excited. I can't wait to get together and have some lunch.
Any day, man. I love you to death.
I love you too, brother. I'm looking forward to getting together. Again, thank you for tuning in. Tell your therapist to quit sending me his bill. I'm using it to start my fires at this point, so please stop. This has been Michael. I am Rick. You've been watching In the Pit, and guess what? We will find you somewhere in the pit.